On this last Friday in February, we're glad you're taking 10 minutes for CNN 10. I'm Cral Azuz. There have been some mixed messages coming out of Nigeria after what appears to be another mass kidnapping by the Boko Haram terrorist group. It's been fighting the African country's government for years with the goal of replacing the federal presidential republic with a government based on strict Islamic law. Earlier this week, suspected Boko Haram terrorists raided a school in northeast Nigeria, kidnapping dozens of girls who went there. But the Reuters news agency reports that it's not known exactly how many were kidnapped and how many are still missing because the local government and state police have given different estimates. Originally, the state governor said that 76 girls had been rescued, but residents told Reuters yesterday that he then backtracked and said the girls were still missing. This could be one of the worst kidnappings in Nigeria.
It was April 14th, 2014. 276 teenage girls were taken from their school in the middle of the night. Some of the girls were able to escape in the hours that followed. It happened in the town of Chibok in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. They were captured by the terrorist group Boko Haram. Several weeks later, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau released a video claiming responsibility for abducting the girls and threatening to sell them as slaves.
Bring back our girls now!
With international outrage mounting, protests began over the Nigerian government's failure to bring the girls home, and a social media campaign, #BringBackOurGirls, was launched. 1 year after the girls were taken, in April of 2015, Muhammadu Buhari won Nigeria's presidential election and vowed to curb Boko Haram's violence. Another year goes by. In April 2016, CNN obtained a proof-of-life video sent by their captors showing 15 of the girls. We shared it with several of the girls' mothers, some tearful moments as they recognized their daughters. In October last year, the Nigerian government announced some of the girls were freed after negotiations with Boko Haram. I was there when 2 months later, those 21 girls finally returned to Chibok and reunite with their families. The room almost vibrating with the sounds of unbridled joy. But for some waiting parents, heartbreak. These women have come looking for their daughters who are still being held by Boko Haram. Although several other girls managed to escape over the course of the past 3 years, the majority of those kidnapped remain in Boko Haram captivity to this day.
In the week since a deadly shooting at a high school in southeast Florida, students around the state and other parts of the country have staged demonstrations, walkouts, and marches. They've been showing support for the victims of the shooting and calling for communities and state and federal governments to take action to prevent shootings in schools. A listening event held at the White House on Wednesday gives you a sense of what some of them are saying.
A bill was also passed that declared that each school has to go through one drill each month. But I know that my school, we go through fire drills every month, and we have not had our lockdown drill yet this year. And I think a change that will increase all the trainings and protocols. So if, God forbid, another shooting does happen, at least all the teachers will be prepared and can hopefully keep their students calm.
This solution is not going to be a singular thing. It's going to be multifaceted, and it's going to be created by a collection of different people working together, and we all have to realize that we all have our opinions, and together we're going to be able to work to a solution.
There needs to be a significant change in this country because this has to never happen again, and people should be able to feel that when they go to school they can be safe.
It's not left and right, it's not political, it's a human issue. People are dying. And we have to stop this. We have to stop. If he's not old enough to buy a drink, to go and buy a beer, he should not be able to buy a gun.
And I don't understand why I could still go in a store and buy a weapon of war.
If you had a teacher who was adept at firearms, they could very well end the attack very quickly. And we're going to be looking at it very strongly. And I think a lot of people are going to be opposed to it. I think a lot of people are going to like it.
If a teacher or a security guard has a concealed license and a firearm on their waist, they're able to easily stop the situation. Or the bad guy, I'll put it that way, would not even go near the school knowing that someone can fight back against them.
School teachers have more than enough responsibilities right now than to have the awesome responsibility of lethal force to take a life.
President Trump has voiced support for raising the legal age at which Americans can buy guns, outlawing certain components for guns, and expanding background checks to focus on gun buyers' mental health. 10-second trivia. Located between the Yellow Sea and the East China Sea, the island of Jeju is part of what country? China, Philippines, North Korea, or South Korea? Jeju is the largest island that's part of South Korea. Okay, let's say you're scaling the side of a cliff and you're about 1,300 feet off the ground and you think to yourself, I just want to spend the night here. Well, now you can in one of these pods in Peru. They were set up by an adventure company. It said one of the biggest challenges of constructing this sort of lodge was making sure it could, quote, handle winds. But if you have $400 and you can get here and you still feel safe enough to sleep, you'd probably find the view pretty sweet. You'd want to hotel all your friends. Of course, if you're claustrophobic, acrophobic, or probably most other kinds of phobic, you may want to hang out somewhere closer to solid ground. Others would find this the height of luxury lodging. I'm Carl Azuz, and Fridays are awesome.